Nazrien Kader says this year's budget set for 24th of February is one of the most eagerly anticipated. This follows the reshuffling of the finance minister's post in December and the subsequent fallout with the rand going into free fall against major currencies. The tax advisory group says the appointment of Pravin Gordhan as finance minister has given the country a boost.
With economic growth seen by some at sub 1% and Pravin Gordhan's need to keep the ratings agencies at bay, he'll have to pull off a well-balanced budget under difficult circumstances. It's expected that taxes will go up in one way or another.
I think probably the likeliest area is individual tax. The three big contributors to tax revenue are income tax on individual, VAT and corporate income tax. And of those three, the lowest is corporate income tax. That's probably the least likely to be increased. VAT would contribute a nice amount of additional tax, but it's obviously politically sensitive and therefore possibly in an election year unlikely to be increased. So I would think possibly a further increase in the individual, the marginal tax rate, which went up last year from 40 to 41. I wouldn't be at all surprised to see that possibly go up by a further %.
Meanwhile, South African business, especially the industrial sector, is bracing itself for a possible announcement on carbon tax. In previous budget pronouncements, 2016 has been earmarked as the start of a comprehensive tax. The Davis Tax Committee has recommended that an emissions tax of sorts be instituted at the beginning of 2017.
I suspect that we are going to postpone the carbon tax for at least another year, or hopefully another year, implement it in a way that we can zero rate make 100% tax-free threshold, which will then allow people to put their systems in place. And at the same time, the government and business debate this tax so that we can actually get this tax to work for the country in a way that makes sense, that we get our trading our trade up, as well as reducing our carbon footprint as a country as a whole.
When the commodities boom was still in play, some quarters of society were calling for the nationalisation of the mines. But with plunging commodity prices and the associated fallout in terms of high inventories and job losses, it's not expected that the budget will levy any new taxes on the mining sector. But today's commodities pain means resource companies are unlikely to contribute to the fiscus meaningfully in years to come.
As much as there is impact on the revenue collections in this sector because there are no profits, in the long term that is going to remain the case because most of these mines are not being closed completely. They are put on care maintenance, so which means they still need to incur cost maintaining them and draining the water and all those things. So the way the mining tax works is you build up those losses. So when you start producing, the income that you're going to make is going to be offset by these costs. So it's going to take really time for you then to start making profits again. So it's going to be like you're starting a new mine.
There's an expectation that Minister Gordhan will provide money for current emergencies, which include the national drought as well as the Fees Must Fall campaign. Nompumelelo Siziba, SABC News, Johannesburg.